Okay, so welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, even for some of you maybe. Well, I am Ferran, Industrial Segment Manager. I am here with Kim Riera, Product Owner, and Marc Vilà, the Manager for the Industrial Business Unit. And the idea of this presentation, of this meeting, is to introduce you Sortech. Sortech is the, let's say, innovative and new solution that we have developed to automate the process of sorting soiled linen in industrial laundries. So let's start. First of all, I would like you to think about an industrial laundry and how today they are doing the sorting of soiled linen there. Basically, it's a completely manual process, and this is a process that it is hard, and this is something where automation makes a lot of sense. So if you imagine, for example, a commercial laundry that is working for hotels but hospitals, the linen storage of the laundry is very soiled. It can contain blood, it can contain organic waste, and well, as you can imagine, this is a task that no one wants to do, and I would say that it is the worst process or the worst phase in a laundry today. So, how this project was born? It was born in a laundry called Interhospitalia here in Spain. This is a laundry that washes linen for a lot of hospitals here in Catalonia. And the laundry manager, he was Raúl, and wanted to find a solution to prevent his operators to do this sorting process manually. So he reached us, and we decided to take advantage of what we call RFID. RFID is radio frequency identification technology, and it's based on putting a tag on every single piece of linen so that a laundry can have traceability of the linen during the whole process. In the end, when we are putting a tag on every piece of linen, this is like an ID for this piece of linen. So by reading this tag, we can know at real time what type of piece of linen it is. So we can know its category. You can see if you are a towel, you are a sheet, you are a duvet, whatever. So thanks to this technology, we decided to develop this Sortech that, for your information, comes from sorting technology. So first of all, let me show you a short video explaining these problems that can happen today in a sorting process of a laundry, and how Sortech can change and be a game changer for this process.
Mountains of soiled and contaminated linen from hospitals, hotels, and other industries arrive daily at your laundry. We know that separating it is a very hard task for your operators, which can endanger their safety. That's why we present Sortech, an innovative solution to sort it automatically. It handles and classifies clothing for your operators, preventing them from coming into contact with contaminated linen. It works at a high, constant, and non-stop pace. Using RFID readers, it identifies the category of each item to avoid errors in sorting. It has removable doors, lights, panels, and drawers for better accessibility and easy maintenance. And it has several configurations to provide a customized solution to each laundry.
Okay, so as I told before, this is a project and a product that was born from a specific customer. So in the end, this is customer intimacy. This is a solution that is now changing the process of Interhospitalia, the first laundry where we implemented this solution. And well, this was a short video to introduce it. Now I'm going to explain how we are going to manage this meeting. Okay, first of all, we are going to see how this system operates, what are the main steps to understand how it works. Then I will Kim explain the picker, which is the workstation of Sortech. So we will see it in more detail with some features, advantages, and benefits. And then we will summarize it into a short video. Then we will move to what are the configurations that we can reach with the Sortech system. What are these configurations available today? And again, we will summarize some of these configurations because you can easily see what can be done with one of these systems. Then we will see what's the market state today, what's our main competitor here, and how we should position ourselves with Sortech to face our competitor and looking at these unique selling points we have today. And we will see what could be the laundries where it makes more sense to put one of these systems. Then Marc Vila will show you and explain you the first project we've done and another one that is on track. And we will see a case study on how this solution has changed the laundry process here in Interhospitalia. So it's a case study of this first installation. And we will see what could be our, let's say, strategic partnerships to sell this solution. And finally, to conclude, we will see what's the documentation that we have available today for you. And then it's going to be your turn to turn on the mic and ask all the questions that you may have during this meeting. So how does it work? No? Let's understand Sortech. Well, first of all, we have to see that mainly Sortech is made of a picker, which is the workstation and which is the machine that we are manufacturing by ourselves in robotics with our great team there. So the picker is the machine that collects all the incoming linen that reaches a laundry. We are driving all this linen through a loading conveyor belt or other systems, but it is collecting the pieces of soiled linen that reach the machine. And then from the whole batch of soiled linen, it picks up items individually one by one. So with the first clamp, we pick one item. Then we will see that it has a second clamp that picks the same item from the first clamp. And this second clamp puts the item over a conveyor belt and underneath an RFID antenna. So now we will see it in more detail, but this is what the picker makes. And then when we have read this chip and we know what category each piece of linen is, then we can send it to the sorter and do the sorting according to the laundry needs. So again, we are only manufacturing the picker, but from a customer perspective, they are looking for a whole solution. So it's also important to understand the configurations available with the sorter and what are the options that we can get. So as I was saying before, first of all, we are collecting all the soil linen that reaches the system. Then through a gripper system, we take and grab items individually with a system of two different clamps. The second clamp moves the item backwards and places it underneath an RFID antenna. And what is important is that before doing the reading, there is a flat gate system that closes to get better isolation and get a better reading. So the fourth step is doing this reading. We read the tag of every single piece of linen and we identify its category. Finally, we are releasing every single piece of linen from the picker and sending it to the sorter. And as you can imagine, the last step is sorting it into as many categories as we want. This is 100% customizable, and we will later see all the different possibilities we have for this sorting system. So now I will let Kim take the lead and explain you the picker in more detail with some features, advantages, and benefits.
Hi, everybody. So now, as thank you, Ferran, for the clear explanation about the system, the whole system, the Sortech system. In this solution, the Sortech, we have two big parts, as Ferran explained. One is the picker, that from now on, we're going to call it PKS, because this machine model, this name is going to be PKS. And the second part, which is the sorter, which is going to be always customized according to the needs of the laundry. This is a different type of machinery that we are going to have to do always a different study, a different case study for each laundry. Now I'm going to explain some more detail, the picker, the PKS machine. This machine has been, after it had been taken, the first idea and the first demo from the innovation department in Gerbau, it was moved to robotics as a project, and robotics has developed the machine, the PKS, and is going to be manufactured in robotics. Okay, so the PKS, the picker workstation of the Sortech. In the price list, you will see. Second. Okay. In the price list, you will see two different configurations: the PKS single and the PKS double. Okay. In both of them, as Ferran explained very clearly, we have mainly the actions of picking, trying to pick one item at a time, and identifying this item by means of reading the tag with the RFID antenna. If we have a PKS double, we also have a first action, which is the distribution in between the one picker and the other. Both pickers will work in parallel. I don't know if this. Now we're going to explain features, advantages, and benefits of this machine. This is going to be a more technical approach in this presentation. We're going to try to make it as much fun as possible. So features for this machine. There are 9 features with their advantages that we're going to explain. The first one, simple unpatented system, picker separator for all types of soiled linen, double or multiple picker option, ready to connect to any sorting system, clamp system, picking effectiveness, linen type identification, waste separation, and visible by beacon light. Now we're going to go in detail into each of them. The first one, simple unpatented system. Most probably this is the most important feature of the machine. Okay, I would like you to look at the image on the right side in the screen. The machine consists basically on 2 linear guides. One that works vertical, it has its own clamps, and another second clamp which works, let's say, with a little bit of inclination or horizontal. Okay, so with these two movements, and then there are some conveyors to carry the linen through the machine, we have the solution. Now we're going to see the path that the linen takes when it enters into the picker. Second. Okay, so linen, all the batch enters into the machine, and it falls into the first step, which is a funnel shape container. Then the first clamps try to grab one item to the top. This is a very long linear guide. It has nearly a 3-meter stroke. That's very important also to understand all the advantages of this machine. Then there's another clamp, the second clamp, that tries to grab always one item out of the first clamps. This linen will wait in between before the reading area, so we can use the flaps to protect, to isolate the area of the reading. Once the linen arrives to the reading area, we will use the RFID antenna to read the tag. And if everything goes well and we only have one item, we will send this item to the sorting system. You can see that in the center there is also a red arrow that takes linen back into the funnel. That would happen in case of reading more than one item in the RFID area. Okay, so we take back the linen to the funnel. All this very simple system, a very simple circuit, is unique in the market, and that's why Girbau managed to patent this idea. The benefits of all this simple and patented system are robust. It's a robust and reliable in terms of adjustments. Very easy machine to use. And obviously, since there are very few components in all this circuit, in all this machine, there is very few maintenance and a lot, less components to be taken care of as spare parts. Okay, let's go for the second one. Second feature: picker separator for all types of soil linen. We can work with the PKS to separate any type of linen, small or large flat linen, such as king size sheets, duvets, towels, blankets, any type. Also, this machine, the one PKS, can reach up to 1,000 items per hour of separation. Okay. With a double picker, we can reach up to 1,800 items per hour. Therefore, the benefits are versatility, because we can use this machine for any type of linen. There is less manpower needed in the laundry. One of these pickers saves more than one operator, and because one operator approximately can separate around 750 items per hour. It also, very important, prevents operators from a dangerous job due to the contaminated linen. So therefore, we have less injuries. That's very important. And one other benefit, we use less footprint in the laundry in order to do the soil item separation, the sorting. Next feature: double or multiple picker option. Since it's a modular design, it's very easy to add another PKS in parallel. They will work in parallel, and they will also include a conveyor which will distribute the linen to the first PKS or to the second one. It's also possible to include multiple double pickers in parallel to work and to increase the productivity. The benefits, though, so they are very clear: possibility to increase output, expand business by means of adding pickers, and same components with all the machinery. All the pickers that we keep on adding, they have the same components, so the maintenance remains very easy. Ready to connect to any sorting system. We know that in laundries, they all have different type of sorting system. They could have trolleys, they use bag rally system. They could have a mix of conveyors plus weighing scales plus trolleys. But the PKS, it has been developed in order to connect perfectly well in terms of hardware and software with any of these sorting systems. The sorting system is the one that takes care of manages the database of the customer, and only communicates with our PKS machine in order to know the tag that we have read and choose the category of each item. The PKS also allows to work with different batches for each customer. Therefore, the benefits are versatility and business expanding options. One of the features of this machine are the clamp system. As you can see in the photo, in the image on the right side, we have used 3D printing components in order to design these clamps, and that offers us a very good grip in order to pick all the linen. Also, the tip part of these clamps is also another 3D printing component, and it can be replaced very easily. And it's important because this part is always it should be a consumable. Normally, we could replace this part twice a year when working in 2 shifts. Another key point is that both clamps, first clamp, the one that works in vertical, and the one that works in horizontal, the second one, they use the same design, the same components. So we have the same reference for both clouds. Therefore, the benefits, we have high productivity thanks to the reliable picking, easy maintenance, and low cost in the spare parts, since the tip of the clamp is a very small item, which has a very good price, nice price. Number 6, picking effectiveness. When the batch of linen arrives to the PKS, all the linen falls into this funnel shape. We have a funnel shape in the arrival. The linear guide, the first clamps, it always tries to reach the linen in the center of this clamp, of this funnel shape. Therefore, this funnel shape helps us a lot in order to concentrate all the linen in the center. So therefore, like this, we never miss any items in any corners of the machine. Also, in case if there are some items stuck on the sides of the walls of this funnel, we use these 4 pneumatic cylinders that you can see in the image in order to push back all the linen into the center of the funnel. Therefore, no items are lost in the process, no mix of batches or linen between customers, and there is no manual handling. Very important to avoid any injuries. Number 7, linen type identification. We use, as Fran has explained before, we use these RFID antennas, a very powerful one, and also adjusted perfectly well to be optimized for the process of this PKS. And what they do is they help us to read the tag in each item and communicate them to the sorting system, PLC. The benefits are less manpower. We use a machine to separate instead of doing the visual separation by the operators. Therefore, we save, again, 1 operator per picker. It separates items with wrong tags. If the laundry has items with tags that have been already, they become old, or they have been destroyed because of the washing cycles. We detect that thanks to this PKS machine, and we can separate them. We can also separate linen that has been washed for more than an amount of cycles. That could be also very interesting for our customers. And it sends information to the laundry database for traceability. Waste separation. To the PKS arrive a batch of linen, which are mixed with any other small components or residues, such as gloves, pens, sponges. All these small components, when the first linen hangs, when the linen hangs from the first clamp, and we shake the linen, normally they drop from them, and all these small components can fall into the drawer that we have at the bottom of this funnel. Then it's very easy, because we have this drawer with a very good accessibility to reach all these residues, all this waste separation, and empty the drawer. Therefore, benefits: separates material that could damage the linen during the washing process. So we save cost on linen for the customer. And it's very easy. We have very easy access for the maintenance, because the drawer is very easy to access. And the last one is the visible beacon light. Each PKS has a beacon light at the top, placed at the very top, to show the operator the status of the machine at all time. In case if the place where we have placed the pickers is not easy to look at, not very visual, we can remove these beacon lights and place them somewhere else in the laundry to offer a better view of this beacon light. we have a color code for these beacon lights to help the operators to understand what is the status of the machine at all time. Therefore, it increases output and reduces downtime. And now we're going to see, after all this review of the features of the PKS, we're going to see a video of the features, but not only of the PKS, but all the Sortech system.
Gerbau presents Sortech. Gerbau's solution to automate the sorting of soiled linen in your laundry. By means of an automatic gripper system, Sortech grips the soiled items individually, avoiding manipulation by operators. Thanks to its RFID antennas, the system can read the chip incorporated in each garment to identify and sort them correctly. Sortech allows automatic sorting into as many categories as necessary. Using removable LED beacon lights, the system status can be known in real time. And it also has LED lights on the sorter, so operators can easily detect when the category needs to be emptied. In addition, it incorporates a pull-out drawer for removing objects that can be released from the garments, and multiple panels and doors to facilitate maintenance tasks. Its screens provide, among other things, real-time production data. And from its control panel, you can consult and manage the configurations established for each client. The system adapts to your production, your needs, and the space available in your laundry. Sortech, your best ally for sorting soiled linen.
Okay, so thank you, Tim, for your explanations on the PKS. Now, let's move on. What are the configurations that we can reach, that we can do with the Sortech system? Of course, and as very well Kim has explained, we can have different configurations with different numbers of pickers to meet every single production demand. We can start from a single picker option, reaching up to 1,000 items per hour. We can place this string configuration to reach up to 1,800 items per hour. But as Tim has very well said, if we wanted to go even higher, we can place as many pickers as the production demand requires. So here's something about understanding the needs of our customer and finding out the best configuration. And now let's move to the sorting, because as we have seen till now, we have, first of all, this possibility, which is to sort into trolleys. As you will see in this video, and as you've seen before, probably, the linen jumps onto these conveyor belts, and when it reaches the category where it should be sorted, one conveyor starts moving the opposite direction, and the item gets fed into the correct category. This could be the less automated sorting possibility, because as you can imagine here, there must be an operator that has to remove a trolley when it is completely full, fit the tunnel washer, and place back the trolley underneath the conveyor system. But what happens when we have a backreel system? Because as you may know, there are a lot of laundries today that have a manual sorting station, and they sort directly into the bags of a backreel system. Well, there is a possibility to integrate this Sortech system with a backreel system existing in a laundry. So the first option for doing this is putting these weighing silos plus delivering to a backreel system. And how it works? Well, the linen jumps onto these conveyor belts. When it reaches the category, it gets fed into this weighing silo. This weighing silo has a flap gate, as you have seen here in this video. And when you reach a specific weight, for example, if you are washing with a 50 kilogram capacity tunnel washer, when you reach this 50 kilogram capacity, the flaps open, you deliver the batch onto a lower conveyor belt, and this is directly reflected into the back of a background system. So this could be a very good option in case we want to do a fully automated sorting process. And then we have another option to do exactly the same, which is putting waiting conveyor belts instead of these waiting silos. It works exactly the same way as the one we've seen now, but in this case, the linen falls onto a conveyor belt. When it reaches a specific weight, it moves forward. It delivers onto this second conveyor belt. And again, this is directly driven to the back of the backload system of the laundry. So as you can see, we can have a fully automated system to avoid operators from doing this, from taking part into this sorting process. Then we have this option, which is very interesting, which is a hybrid configuration. And you combine manual and automated sorting. It makes a lot of sense because if you can imagine a commercial laundry that is working for many different customers, can have some customers with the linen tagged, but it can have some customers with non-tagged linen. So if you don't have tags in the linen, then you cannot do the sorting with Sortech. So you have to set this hybrid configuration. So what we do here is, of course, if we have the tag, the RFID tag on the linen, we open the manual sorting loop and deliver the linen to the automated system, to Sortech. On the other hand, if we have linen with no RFID tag, what we do is we close the loop and we do the sorting with the manual sorting station as they are doing it today. So we have this possibility to go to those laundries that have some customers with tag linen and some of them without tags on the linen. Which is, by the way, the configuration that we have here in Interhospitalia in the first laundry. And it's working quite good. So this is a very good option as well. And as an option, this is something quite interesting because we can put an X-ray scanner or a metal detector after the picker and before the sorter. This way, what we can do is we can detect those pieces of linen or those garments that contain objects that can be harmful and dangerous for the operator's health. For example, syringes, needles, but also pens and metals, whatever. And this way, what we can do is we can set aside and sort aside all these items that have these objects inside. And this way, we are not putting them together with the ones that are cleaned and have no objects inside. The most common way to do this is putting all these items with dangerous objects into the first sorting category so that we avoid these objects from being released during the jumps on the conveyor belts. And we keep the other categories for doing the sorting of linen that is free from these objects and can be directly washed with a tunnel washer. So in case that some laundries are looking for some risk prevention measures, this is a very good option as well that can be implemented. Finally, as we have seen in the video before, we can do these shapes, adapted layouts to match laundries with reduced spaces. We can do these lifts. We can put the pickers lifted on an upper floor, and we can do these shapes to avoid these long configurations and layouts and much reduced spaces. So I would like to summarize some of the configurations that can be done into another video, which probably will help you understanding what can be done with these configurations. So let's look at this video. Okay, so just to get an overall idea on some configurations that can be done with different pickers, with different sorting options. And now I would like you to explain you what's our main competitor here and how we should differentiate ourselves from their solution. Well, our competitor here is Invatec. Invatec is a company that has been recently bought by Jensen, and they do a lot of robotics and automated solutions. And well, their solution here is, well, what are we comparing? We are comparing our Sortech system with the Invatec's and Jensen's sorting system, okay? As you can see here, the steps and the processes are exactly the same, but our workstation in our case is what we call the picker, the PKS. In their case, they call it Thor robot separator. And the main difference here is that in the picker, we are doing both the individual picking of items and the reading to identify the category of each item. In their Thor robot separator, they are only doing the individual picking of items, and they are doing the recognition once they move to the second compartment, to the second module, which we will now see. But the operation and the way they work is quite similar. This is a first photo on the comparison between our solution and their solution. Today, we have only the solution and the identification technology of RFID, which they also have. But today, Invatec has also the possibility to do the recognition by means of artificial vision. So, of course, it makes a lot of sense for all those laundries that today are not operating through RFID systems, and they can train the machine and do the recognition by shapes, by patterns, and by the camera. This is something that today we have under development. We are now working with a company called Bitmetrics. So we are looking if it is feasible for us to develop this solution, but we wanted to first introduce you this first version that only works through RFID today. In terms of productivity, we can see here that we might be a bit lower. It's also good to understand that Invatec has been working on their solution for many years. They started on 2015, I think. And for the numbers that they show off, that they show on their commercial presentations, we saw that we can be a bit lower in terms of productivity. But on the other hand, and I think that this is the most important point from us, is the maintenance, because we have a simple design, a simple system with an easy and affordable maintenance. And this is something that can make a difference for a laundry and for a technical perspective. In terms of polyvalence, it's the same. In the end, it's just about understanding what the customer needs and finding out this layout, this sorting configuration. So I think that for this part, we can do exactly the same. And then if we look at the investment that a solution like this requires, we are much lower. It's true that today they were only the only solution in the market, so they were probably raising the prices and earning a lot of money because they were the one and only solution for that. We don't know if now we are going to the market without solution, they can be a bit cheaper. We will see, and it's something that we expect from your side to explain us as well. But today, for a same project, we are about 300,000 euros lower, so it's quite a lot. And here on the right side, you can see, well, this photo highlighting the points where we are better and the ones where we are a bit worse. So now let's go into each specific point of this. First of all, the identification technology. As I said before, we can both do the identification through RFID, but with this difference, which is that we are doing the identification in our workstation, in our PKS, while Invatec is doing it after their Thor robot separator through this compartment, which they call Heimdall.RFID. So they do the individual picking of items, and then they move it to this compartment to do the identification. It's important to comment, thank you, Kim, and to highlight that it can happen, and it is something that really happens in the laundry, which is that sometimes the clam can wrongly pick up 2 or more different items. And what we are doing is that when we are reading these items with the RFID reader, and we are realizing that there are more than one item there, we can bring the linen back to the funnel and to the main batch to avoid sorting mistakes. If they are doing this recognition after the picking compartment, they cannot bring the pieces back to the first compartment in case they have picked up 2 or more items. So this is something that we have to take into account and show off when talking about our Sortech system. And for the artificial vision, what they do is they just replace the Heimdall.RFID compartment for the one that they call Heimdall.camera with a camera that can be trained, and the recognition is done not by tags, but by shapes, by patterns, and by the conditions of the linen, let's say. But again, this is something that we are now studying and seeing if it is feasible to come up with a solution for those laundries not operating today with RFID systems. In terms of productivity and considering the productions that they show off, again, with one picker and one sorting lane, the configuration you see on the top left, on the left top side, we can reach up to 1,000 pieces per hour, while they could go up to 1,200 pieces per hour. And when we are putting together 2 PKS, in this case, we can reach a peak productivity of 1,800 pieces per hour and an average one of 1,600, while they would be around 2,200 as a peak one and over 2,000 as an average one. So it's true that we can be a bit slower, let's say, but we have to consider a lot this third part, which is maintenance. I've put here some examples, which are quite significant, let's say. The first one is the first clamp guidance system. As you can see here, we just work with a mechanical system, an easy one with only 1 degree of freedom, while they are going with this guidance system with a 3-axis movement that, of course, is difficult to calibrate, and the maintenance of this guidance system is much, much more complicated. And a second example would be the clamp design. Here on the right, you can see the clamp that they put on their Thor robot separator. It works through these reversing conveyors. As you see here, the first one moves this way, the other one moves on the opposite way. So when a piece of linen comes from the middle side, it goes up. It's important to highlight that when they are working with RFID, not with the artificial vision, they still put a camera on the clamp, as you can see here on the top picture. They are putting this camera here because they want to know what's the best place to go and do the picking. So they read, let's say, the surface of the linen to find out which is the best picking point. That's why they reach higher productivities. But on the other hand, it's true that doing the maintenance of this camera and doing the maintenance of this clamp is something that can be a nightmare for the laundry as well. On the other hand, we're going with a 3D printed system with the tips that can be replaced as a consumable and with pneumatic actuators. So again, the system and the way it works is much, much easier. And I don't want to repeat it again, but again, for these layouts, we can all do everything. So we can go with more automated or more hybrid systems with the option of rejecting items and whatever we want to do. So it's just about understanding what the customer and the laundry needs. And the same for the sorting. We've seen these 3 different sorting types, so we can go with any of them. And finally, for the investment, this is just a reference for you for the price that the customer should pay for the configuration you are seeing now on screen, okay? This is the configuration that has been installed in Interhospitalia, the first laundry here in Spain. It has 2 PKS stations. It has 16 trolleys for doing the sorting. And if today we wanted to do this project again with the current prices and the current suppliers for the sorter, we could be on the region of 400,000 euros, okay? And we know that for exactly the same configuration, they could be over 700,000 euros. Again, this is the prices that they were setting today, and we will see what's going on since now. And if we are putting together the differences of production and of investment, we have this rate here of euros hour per piece, and we can see that we could be on the region of 222, and they could be on the region of 330. So almost a 50% higher. It's difficult to talk about prices for this solution because, as you can imagine, the number of pickers, the configuration for the sorting side, everything can represent a huge vary in terms of price. But just for you to know as a reference that for this specific project, this would be a reference of prices from our side and from their side. So how should we go to the market and how should we sell our Sortech system? What are the points that we should underline? First of all, as I said before, the maintenance cost, and you can easily explain it with examples. You can talk about the easy way we are doing the sorting with mechanical guides, with some mechanical pushers to avoid linen stack on the sides. You can talk on the common components for both clamps. Well, I think that the whole gripper system is easy to understand and requires low maintenance in comparison, of course, to what our competitor is offering today. Again, the clamps, even for the tips that can be removed as a consumable, but also because we don't have the reversing conveyors we've seen before for Invatec, we go just with these pneumatic actuators. So the maintenance is much, much easier. And then, because we can work with very large items, and a couple of weeks ago, we were talking to a distributor that has worked with other competitors, and he explained us that this is also an advantage from our side because the solution that Invatec and Jensen are offering works good with small pieces, but it's sometimes a struggle when working with king-size sheets or even duvet covers because their strokes are not as long as our strokes. So, as you can see here, our strokes for the guidance and the clamps are very long. They are about 3 meters long. 3 meters height, sorry. And we have up to 3 conveyor belts since the second clamp releases the linen and we are doing the reading. So it's also a buffer for these large items and can help us when working with this bigger size linen. So this is something that we can also explain. And finally, from a customer point of view, it's always good to see these visual indications. First of all, as Kim has explained before, for the beacon lights of the PKS, that I would like to say something here because some customers, and it's completely normal, they can worry because what happens if this system stops, right? So it's good to know that we are putting a Sortech system with 2 different pickers. Each picker has its beacon light, and this means that they can work completely separately. And in case that one stops working, you can still continue working with the other one, of course, at half the production. But while doing the maintenance on one station, you can still keep working with the second one. So that's why we are putting one beacon light in each picker in this case. And in case we are sorting with trolleys, every single category is going to have a LED light on the top side to indicate the filling level of each category, so that the operator can know when a category is starting to get quite full and when it is completely full and needs to be unloaded. So it can be also a great value for the customer. And finally, what I said before and what I mentioned here, which is that in terms of space optimization, we can do the picking and the identification in only one station. So as you see here, the picker, the PKS, they're doing the picking with the clamps and the recognition, the identification with the antennas in the same station. Okay. And as I told before, as far as we know today, the investment that a Sortech system requires is much, much lower than the one that they are offering. But again, we have to see how this evolves. And then there is something about a pricing strategy that we have to see for each project, what are the price that we want to set. Because, of course, going much cheaper, let's say, can also lead to some lack of trust. So we will see here what we can do. But for your information, we have affordable investments today for this solution. And just a fast slide to see what could be the target laundries for this system. Of course, we have to look for the laundries that are seeking to improve operator safety and health, and also to implement new occupational risk prevention measures. So we can set aside the garments containing objects, as we saw before. We can put these X-ray or metal detectors. So this is a very good advantage that can help these laundries. Of course, laundries that are already working with RFID systems, it makes a lot of sense for commercial laundries because they want to know what's the linen that they are delivering, what's the linen that they are getting back to the laundry. And the ones that work with rental systems, because they make customers pay for the rental system, but also for the linen that they are losing. So they want to have this traceability, and they should be interested into implementing these RFID systems. So again, if there's no RFID system, we cannot put a Sortech system today. So if they already are working with RFID, it makes sense to go for the second step. And last but not least, the ones that have very high labor costs and a lack of resources or high staff turnovers. So in countries where these labor costs are very expensive and they are looking for process automation, we can also explain them this solution. Okay, so Mark, it's your turn now to explain the project that we've done, the one that's on the track.
Just change the screen. Okay. Now the idea is to explain you very quick and very brief because there is no a lot of projects neither, but the couple of projects that we have been doing and the one that we are in progress, just to give you an idea what is the type of the projects that we can do, but just as an example. So the first one, as mentioned, is the origin of this project. The main idea here was to how we can be a little bit less dependent on the workers' rotation and how we can improve the productivity of the sorting. So in this case, we started with this half automation project. There is a couple of pickers, but there is a potential expansion of adding 2 more to get the 100% project automated. Today, we are just checking if the requests from the beginning are done. And mainly here, there were 3 main challenges, apart from to succeed on the automatic sorting, was to make a system that was really simple. And in case of a sudden stop, to have the people that is working in this area be able to restart and acknowledge the alarm that has been raised in order to not have high-skilled people for keeping this machine running. I think this has been successfully achieved. And secondly, a machine that stops really few times in a day. So they were asking for a minimum 1 stop per hour. So this is also successful in the test since close 1 year, more or less now. The machine has been running in the laundry. So I think it's partially the justification or explanation that Ferran has been saying in the unique selling points. We made a really simple solution that could help the laundry owners to automate this process. So here you can see how it is done. The important point here, you will see a lot of images, videos. Don't think that these images that you are seeing is the way that always will be. This is in a specific case for the project. Probably most of the cases never will reach 16 sorting positions, so it would be much smaller. It maybe will not be installed in a mezzanine. So this take it as an example, but not as a final approach, because it could be very different in every case. So going to the next project. The next project is one of the biggest projects ever in Bilbao. It is a hospital laundry in Denmark. We are now building they are building the building, and we are delivering the equipment by May this year. And this is a full automated laundry that has been also equipped with a Sortech system. In this case, it's again non-100% tagged linen laundry. So that makes the project sharing both a hybrid solution where we can have a manual sorting in one side, and for the garment that will be 100% tagged, that will be using the Sortech system. So this is just as an example of how the project is, but we don't have yet the 3D models to show. But this is another example how this solution helps us to provide automation and improvements on the laundries. In this case, in difference between the Interhospitalia, we will be using back rail systems. This is also an important difference that allows to even having less people, because the trolleys requires always someone to be in charge of removing and putting new trolleys underneath of the belts. In this case, it would be 100% automated by the back rail system. So this is the important. And this is, I think, even if we are launching the product, it doesn't mean that the project is stopped. We are still improving. We are still collecting and gathering data from the different markets. And you are very important for us to having all these insights from the market. So what we recommend you is when you go to customers and explaining this solution and talking about what their needs, making a lot of questions, asking about how they do this sorting, numbers, KPIs, what is the values, the problems, collect all this data and trying to give it to us in order to know if we need to keep the feature we have to improve something. This would be very useful because the market is always a little bit different in different countries, so this is important. And for sure, telling the customer that we will adapt the best solution to their needs. So that's why in this type of projects, probably it would be always necessary to ask for a sales engineering support for making a layout, for making a drawing, or making a calculation to define the number of pickers, the PKS that would be needed. Also, the type of sorting to be applied. I think Torsten asked about who is the manufacturing the belts. Today is a Spanish manufacturer, but this is something that we will talk later, that it's open to be done elsewhere. It's not a main issue. The idea is to get the final solution, and then we will buy or acquire the belts in the different suppliers. So now let's go to the end of the presentation, because
the idea now is to see a case study of this first installation. Some of you may have seen this video before, but for the ones who have not seen the video yet, you will see here how Sortech has helped Interhospitalia in this case, and the benefits of the system. So let's see it.
We're at Interhospitalia, an industrial laundry located in Terrassa, exclusively dedicated to serving the healthcare sector and providing services to over 20 centers. Today, we are here to present Sortech, the solution that Girbau has developed to automate the sorting of soiled linen. This conveyor belt gathers the soiled linen that arrives at the laundry from hospitals. As usual, these clothes contain blood and other substances characteristic of the healthcare sector, and therefore the manual sorting becomes a hard, unhygienic, and even dangerous process for the laundry operator's health. Among other benefits, Sortech eliminates the need for operators to come into direct contact with all these soiled clothes that must be separated before the washing process begins. The operation is very easy. First, the system collects all the incoming linen. If, as in this case, we have a configuration with 2 integrated pickers, the system itself distributes it to the picker that has the least workload at that moment. Then, through a gripper system, the machine picks up the different items one by one and without stopping. Sortech uses radio frequency identification technology, better known as RFID. In this way, the system can read the chips to identify the different items of clothing by means of RFID readers. With each reading, the picker instantly identifies the item grabbed and sends it to a specific trolley that has been designated exclusively for that type of items. This Girbau solution allows a 100% customizable allocation of trolleys according to the needs of each laundry. Through a LED light system, operators can easily detect if a trolley is starting to get quite full or if the trolley is already full and needs to be unloaded. In this case, all the operator has to do is remove the trolley, unload it, and put it back into the sorting system. With a simple and accessible design, Sortech allows quick and ergonomic maintenance tasks. These antennas provide a visual indication of the machine's status by means of a traffic light system with LED lights. This makes it possible to quickly identify when the machine has stopped. The design incorporates touchscreens for user-friendly interaction that allow, among other things, real-time production data. What's more, the system has a control panel where the configuration set for each customer can be displayed.
With Girbau Sortech system, Interhospitalia has experienced a notable increase in productivity within the washing area. Since all our garments are equipped with radio frequency chips, we made the decisions to automate the separation process. Undoubtedly, the most significant benefit has been the enhancement of our operators' working conditions. At Interhospitalia, we prioritize the well-being of our operators, and thanks to this automated sorting system, they no longer have to manually handle the arduous task of sorting soiled linen. Instead, they can dedicate their time to other tasks that provide greater value to our customers, such as quality control. Overall, we have achieved significant improvements in productivity while enhancing the job satisfaction and working conditions of our operators.
This solution is capable of separating and sorting up to 1,800 pieces per hour, which is equivalent to a productivity of 2 operators per shift. It is an innovative, robust, automated, simple, and reliable solution that ensures continuous with non-stop production. This is how we could describe this new offering from Girbau. Okay, so let's move now to the strategic partnerships that we can have here with this Sortech solution.
This is another important point. Even though the technical solution is something that is aligned with the typical products or machines that we have been doing and designing, to sell these solutions is something that is a little bit far from our knowledge. So this is important to think about on partnerships to explore the market. We are not used to offer sorting solutions, and when it's the case, probably it's WSP, for example, the one that is offering the solution. So in this case, we approach to them, explaining what are the machines and the solution that we were designing, and we are still working together on even increasing the capacity that we think today we can achieve by having a very small footprints and a high productivity. So this would be, I think, one of the most important selling lines together with partners like the WSP. For the moment, it's just ideas, concepts, but we are under study these kind of solutions that would help to achieve 6,000 pieces per hour, for example, for the really big laundries. Some mixed solutions with an automatic and manual sorting. So this would be probably one of our main allies on these new solutions. Apart from the WSP, I think it's also regarding the question from Joel. It's knowing more about the RFID. That's true that we are not also a main player on this technology, but there is already a good penetration in the market from some other companies that allows us to approach them and going together, even opening the doors to offer this solution, like the case of UV, that was the company that was implementing the solution in the first project. So they are interested also in the solution because they allows them to offer more value on the proposal of RFID solutions in the laundry. So this is a second step or a second leverage point that we need to use in order to get the market for this type of solutions. In this case, Aleix would also help all the team to go further and know more about what could be done and what are the main characteristics of RFID. I think it's also important to be aligned on these points. So that's mainly the two big points to consider in these partnerships for this type of solutions. And for sure, again, if some of you consider that there are some other points to be known, let us know, because I think it's always important to get all the doors open to the different markets.
Yeah, well, just to say that, of course, if our laundry is not working with RFID and we are presenting this solution, the first question is going to be, okay, how should I go into an RFID system? And that's why we are also looking for providers for these solutions, trying to understand what's their value proposal, and in case we want to offer an RFID solution, how we can best do it. But again, as Mark said, for the suppliers of RFID, this can also make a difference because, for example, when you are placing readers into the laundry, you can know real time what's the number of washes per item, for example. But if aside from knowing this number of washes, you can also sort these items into one category when they reach, let's say, I don't know, 30 washes, it's something that's very good value for these suppliers and can be a good let's say, added value for their proposal. Okay, just to end this presentation, I wanted to show you what's the documentation that we have today. First of all, regarding the basics, of course, you'll have a brochure here highlighting the advantages and the most important features of a Sortech system. Then you'll have, for example, the case study we've seen today on video. You can also have the written version in case you want to share it with some customers to show them how Sortech has helped Interhospitalia in this case. But also, our communication team has put huge efforts on developing, for example, materials for trade shows and events. We have flyers, as you see here. We have posters. We have even roll-ups. And of course, to promote the product, we have prints, posts ready for social media, and even banner display, as you can see here on the screen. So we have quite a lot of documentation and materials to promote and to back the solution. Then we have the presentation that you've seen here during this meeting. We have the benchmarks and the unique selling points. And you have, for example, the features, advantages, and benefits of the PKS that Kim has explained. The presentation of benchmark, for example, has much more information than the one you've seen here, because I have removed a lot of text, leaving only the pictures. But if you take a look to the presentation, you'll see that there is much more information there. We have the technical specs of the picker as well, and we have, of course, the page of the product posted on the website. Finally, we've done a sales presentation where you can use this material to do a first approach to a customer. There you will have the videos you've seen here today, and some of the, let's say, most important things, and how can Sortech help them in their sorting process. So it's a short presentation, but highlighting some points that can be interesting for a first approach. Just one more thing, which is that this November in TechScare, we are bringing one Sortech configuration, an easy one with one picker and some sorting conveyors with trolleys. But, well, this is quite an innovative solution. As far as we know, we are the second supplier for this. So it's important for us to highlight this automation. Not only automation, but game changer for health and operating conditions. So we want to bring one unit there as well. So I think it's your time now to open the mic and ask us all the questions you may have written down during the presentation. Maybe you can raise the hand and we will give you the permission to ask the questions.
While you are thinking about what the questions are, just informing you that if someone of you needs to see this sorting system that is installed in Terrassa, close to Vic, just let us know. The customer is always open to welcome us there and see in real life how the system works, and just be aware that this option is always available.
Okay. I've seen, Mark, you have been answering some of the questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, well, let's check together. Thorsten was asking, for example, if the picker and the sorter are both manufactured in robotics.
Yes. I believe the answer was done. Mark,
yes.
Mark has answered already. Yeah, well, that's what we explained. The picker, yes, the picker is the machine that will be manufactured in robotics.
Raising the hand, Xavier.
But not the sorting. The sorting system can be manufactured with in Vic with some suppliers around Vic or some other suppliers in Europe.
Okay, and Joel was asking for this RFID systems and this technology that some of you may not be used to it. But I think that, yeah, we could even try to do a short training on how this system works, and some suppliers that we know today that could help us and on providing these solutions. But of course, a sorting system makes no sense without an RFID there. So it's important to understand how this system works.
Xavier?
Yes, well, first of all, to congratulate you and all the team for the product, that it looks a great product, and the launch that you are doing, that it's very complete and professional. My question was related if we had any figure about the return of investment in Interhospitalia. Did we get access to this information, and we have a preliminary figure of what has been for them in terms of return of investment?
We have some rough numbers, not yet done, because as they are doing in, let's say, in a prototype mode a little bit, we have been doing small tests. But the fact is, if I'm not wrong, Kim, the number of workers that has been removed by using the
two operators per shift.
It's nearly 2 operators. Yes. It's actually 1.7, let's say, operators per picker. 1.5 operators per picker. In
the case, well, in Interhospitalia, it was almost 2 operators per shift with the 2 picker configuration we have there. But again, it's all about understanding, for example, the labor cost of each country is going to be different. The sorting configuration is going to be different. If you have trolleys, you need someone there to unload the trolleys and put them back into the sorting system. If you work with a background system, you don't need people there. And also the shifts that the laundry is operating, because the Sortech system is going to be always there. So if you work in 1 shift, the row is going to be much longer. Otherwise, if you work in 3 shifts, you'll have a much better ROI, let's say. And well, I made some numbers as well for Invatech solution, and the ROI was, well, it made no sense at all. It was for 10 or 11 years. So when you are looking at the ROI, it makes no sense for this price. But again, it's not something only about ROI, it's something also about safety, about preventing your operators from coming into contact with this contaminated linen. So we have to take into consideration both sides.
Because in these numbers that you made, how many shifts they are operating in Interhospitalia?
2 shifts. 2 shifts.
Okay.
So it's more than two operators per shift.
Okay.
And of
Thank
course,
you.
the more linen tact they have, the shorter row you'll have, because you don't need people then to do the sorting, to the manual sorting with linen with no tags. So we have to see and study each project separately, but we have some rough numbers for Interhospitalia if you need them.
Yeah, thank you.
It's important, Xavier, what Ferran says. I want to repeat it. It's also about safety and also about removing big headaches on terms of operators, rotation of operators, people that come 1 week, the next week they disappear because the workers that have to do this type of job in the laundry, normally they, as we all know, there's a huge rotation with them, and they never confirm if they're gonna come back maybe next month. So that's a big headache.
No, that's why if we were able to get ratios about it, that if the ratio of the rotation of the people has improved, any ratio that we can get, it helps us as well to put numbers when explaining to customer.
Another important point, we probably have tend to think about that the healthcare segment could be the most interesting to use this for these foreign objects that you can find, and with also some chemical or let's say hazardous linen that arrives. But also looking from the other side, the big ships coming from hospitality is always requires movement from the arms that are heavy items. This is also a real good support. The machine allows to go up to 3 meters, so this helps a lot to discharge on weight the people. So this is not yet proven because we don't have yet installed in any hospitality laundry, but for sure would help with the absenteeism due to illnesses and healthy issues. So if there is no more questions, we have already planned some questions and answers that maybe can help you to think a little bit more.
We've created the simulation of questions and answers.
I'm gonna share again. Just it's gonna be short, but okay. So just for you to know, we have another document ready to prevent some questions that can be asked for our customers. So it's good to know the answer for all these questions when we are visiting a customer. I don't know why this. Let me. Okay. So we have 12 questions here, starting from what happens if I don't have 100% of the linen shipped. Some of them have been answered during this meeting, of course. But again, what happens if I am picking 2 or more items with one clam? What happens with these defective chips? Well, a lot of questions that I highly recommend you to to go through and to read the answers carefully. Here I have just some of them to give you an example. But for example, what happens with this first one? If I don't have 100% of the linen shipped, then is when we have to talk about these hybrid configurations that we can achieve, and then we can sort automatically the ones with tags, and we can still do the manual sorting as they are doing today with the linen that has no tags. For example, what happens if Sortech stops? Does it stop all my production? Okay, we know this is a critical phase, but again, we can work. If we have 2 or more pickers, they can work independently. So in case that one stops working, we can do the maintenance and continue working with the second one. And finally, what happens if I am picking 2 or more items? This is what we explained before, that we don't want these sorting mistakes. So in case that because each clamp has a photo cell. So when we are picking one item, the photo cell already knows that we have an item there. And then when we are bringing what the clamp has wrapped to the reader, it's when we read one chip or more than one. If we read one chip, no problems. If we have 2 chips, we have to check if they are the same category or not. If they are the same category, we move them to the sorter because they're going to be sorted into the same category. Otherwise, if they belong to different categories, we don't want to send them to the sorter, but we are bringing them back to the main funnel to avoid these sorting mistakes. So just 3 examples on some questions. Or this one, what happens with defective chips? Of course, these chips have, let's say, a useful life. It's a long one because, as you can imagine, for a supplier of RFID, it's not interesting to keep replacing these chips. But in case that some of them get bad condition, let's say, we can sort them into a specific category, and these items should be then checked by the laundry and maybe retagged or removed directly from the linen that they are delivering. So just some examples of questions that could be asked. And no more presentations.
I was checking the Roy Xavier from the Interhospitalia, and for the first exercise, it was planned in different scenarios from 4 to 6 years with this first installation. So 4 to 5, yes, sorry, not 6, 4 to 5. That's the figures, and we didn't do yet the exercise to confirm what is the figures or the numbers today, but we will do soon, and we will share with all people here the results.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Ferran, for the presentation, and Kim.
Thank you very much for your time, for attending. And well, any questions you can come up with during this afternoon or the upcoming days, just feel free to ask. And
don't send all the inquiries right now all together. Split little by little, but all of them would be attended.
It's a very new solution for all of us, but don't hesitate in case you have any doubts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy.
Gracias.